right. Today we're going to talk about 5 bands that we just don't usually talk about.
Yeah.
All right. What'd you come up with for number 5?
Well, my number five is actually the band that kind of prompted my idea to do this topic. I actually don't know if the time that I've been doing this with you, or even the times prior to me being involved, if this band was even has ever been mentioned. You may remember, but Crocus.
I think I had them as honorable mention for non-UK bands, I think,
Okay,
or
okay.
US, I think. But yeah, like I love Crocus.
Me too. There's a lot of Crocus stuff I like. So
Headhunter,
yeah.
man.
What? Headhunter. Yeah,
Headhunter.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, Headhunter, the what Midnight Rendezvous.
Yeah.
That one's good too. There's a sort of about 3, 4 albums in a row there's that are those early 80s, I'm sorry, early
Yeah.
80s albums. And one of the things with them that I had heard about whatever was when Bon Scott died and AC/DC knew they were going to go on. That Mark Storace was one of the people that was his name was at least brought up
Yeah. I remember
as
hearing it.
one of yeah. And kind of some of those albums have a very AC/DC
Hmm.
type feel to it, like Long Stick Goes Boom, like that's real AC/DC.
Oh yeah.
Um, so kind of imagining like what his vocals could have maybe sounded like with AC/DC. I think
Hmm.
those albums kind of give an idea of that. And it would have been cool. I think that would have been cool, but
Yeah.
Brian Johnson was the dude too, so nothing
Yeah.
against him. But yeah, man, some of that '80s Crocus stuff is real good, man. I mean, I can't say too much about like what after that, but yeah, their band I thought at least needed to, and that's kind of where my mind was with the idea for this topic and all the bands I have listed, and I have quite a bit of honorable mentions on
Me
this one. I
too.
mean, more than what I've had in other episodes. Because, like I say, I feel like a lot of these bands, some of them have been brought up, um, but really maybe don't get discussed as much as like they maybe deserve. That's all.
Yeah. Yeah, I got a lot of momentous too. I had a hard time coming up with my top 5 because I have so many of them.
Well, yeah, I kind of did too. Like which five to like
Yeah.
put in the five, yeah. And I only assume we'll have a lot of the same ones too. So
Yeah. Um yeah, like I don't think Mark was the original singer either. I think in the 70s they had a different guy. So
okay,
yeah,
I
so
yeah.
the 80s stuff is definitely the best.
With him, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what everybody would really know anyway. I mean, I don't want to say anyway because I think they have like their legion of fans as well.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
but I would say for like, as we've said, like the casual listener, like that string of 80s, early mid 80s albums were the ones the albums and songs are going to be most noted for.
Yeah, that's one band I've always wanted to see that never got to. In 2020, they were going to do like a final tour, and they were coming to
Okay.
Cleveland, but with COVID hit, they just canceled the whole tour. So I never
Yeah.
got to see him.
Yep.
Yeah, on my list, I kind of came up with some that that I don't think you and I have ever talked about. Is I don't even know if you like these bands. That's kind of how I
Yeah.
went through mine.
Okay.
My number 5, shout out to Amy Joe on this one. My Sister's Machine.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I had the
I
shirt
know
on
of. Yep.
a couple weeks
And she
ago.
had asked me. Yeah.
Yeah. Now you've seen them
Okay.
with Pantera and Crowbar.
Okay. At the Newport then.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I don't remember. I probably, yeah. So it's just a band that maybe just didn't catch on with me, you
Yeah.
know?
They
Yeah.
I seen them a couple times. I seen them also they opened up for Faster Pussycat at the Newport on the Whip tour. But
Oh, okay.
the singer, he was the original guitar player of the glam version of Alice in Chains.
Okay. The original guitar player?
Yeah. When they were
Huh.
Alice in Chains, the letter N, they were like a glam band.
Yeah.
He was like,
Yeah.
yeah, this is before, before they got signed. They put out like a couple demos.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Okay.
I remember, matter of fact, I remember him telling me that. Like, I
Okay.
met him at that Fast Pussycat show, and he was like, "Yeah, so I said something about like how they sound like Alice in Chains, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm actually an original member of them." It was like, so I thought that was pretty cool.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
They only released two records and kind of called it quits in '94, but they still play shows every now and then. But I thought they were a pretty good band. They should have been bigger, than what they were. Maybe because they did sound too much like Alice in Chains, but I thought they were a good band.
I might have to go back out and check them out again because, like I say,
First record.
I obviously knew the band name, and like you said, I probably did see them, but it just didn't catch on with me.
Yeah, yeah. If you saw that whole Pantera show, because they played first.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
right on. Okay, what you got for number four?
Number four is another band I don't think we've mentioned on here. Um, and this is a band that I think you and I have had conversations with about this band, and I think they're kind of not your thing also. But DRI, Dirty Rotten Imbeciles.
I think you've
Um,
mentioned him a couple times.
okay. But yeah, man, classic crossover, you know, hardcore thrash band, I mean, legendary.
Hmm.
Uh, so yeah, just felt like that they definitely, being such a just legendary band, that definitely put them in my top five for this one. And I love them. I mean, I love everything they've done. I mean, I like some stuff better,
Hmm.
but I like everything they've done, but some stuff better. Um, Huge band for me, late 80s, catching on to them with the Suit and Tie Guy video, and then the Thrash Zone album. Actually, you see that?
Yeah,
Yeah. So yeah, I even have, a poster there on the wall. I'll be 50 years old and we still have posters on our walls.
yeah. Who in the fuck would put posters on the wall at 50, man? Fucking
Yeah, right?
losers.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's us.
Yeah.
Um, and well, quick story too about that poster specifically was about 12 years ago, there was a dude that had a independent record store up in just north of campus area in Clintonville. And he was a punk rock, crust punk kind of dude. Cool dude. He had a little independent record store. It was upstairs down by Embassy Skate Shop. And it was called Dreadful Sounds. Did you ever check
Mm,
that out? Yeah.
I don't even
It was,
remember it.
I would say it was open less than a year.
Oh, damn.
Maybe about 10 months, around a yearish. And he had mostly records in there. He had other stuff, CDs, cassettes, other collectible type things like magazines, books. It was cool, shirts, and it was all like used, buy, sell, trade type shit. But mostly he had amazing records in there. So I was like, you know what, man? Maybe, I was at a point where I was like, I kind of wanted to get into doing something and I was like, maybe I'll just start doing the record collecting thing,
Hmm.
which I did do. I did that for about 3 years. And within that 3 years, I accumulated about 300 records. So I kind of went hard with it for those three
Hmm.
years.
Also, it was
But,
recent then,
oh, yeah, it was,
like 10
uh,
years, last 10 years, 15 years or so.
well, yeah, I'd say it was like 2011, 2012, 2013.
Yeah.
It was actually in 2013 where so 10 years ago, where both of my parents had died, and I made the decision to buy a house, and I sold most all of those records to come up for the down payment for my house. I mean, because I had some like legit records in there, man.
Hmm.
Where some of those where I got like $100 or something for, like a couple of the records that I had. So I did go kind of hard those 3 years with some of the stuff I come up on. But so he had a record, and this is what I already been throwing that idea around, and I was like, so this is the first one that I bought. It was actually the Four of a Kind record, but that poster for Thrash Zone that I just showed was came with the record in it. And I more wanted the poster
Hmm.
is what I wanted. So
Yeah.
that was the impetus, if you will, for catalyst, whatever, that for my kind of 3 year record collecting time. So, and I kept the poster, sold the record, but kept the
Hmm.
poster.
Right on.
Another
Yeah.
one that I should have, I'll say real quick, a record that I had that I got, I don't think they realized what they had. I bought the Ace Frehley solo record. I'm talking like Still Kiss Ace
Hmm.
Frehley solo record with
Hmm.
the Ace Frehley poster. Each of those records came with a poster that when you put the four of the posters together, it was a bigger poster.
Oh,
So
nice.
a lot of collectors come to find out when I sold that Ace Frehley record, I sold the poster with it. There were people that were just wanting to buy that poster for like $60, $80.
Damn.
I bought that record with the poster, I remember, for $13.
Damn.
Yeah. And
That's
I
what
end
I
up,
missed about records though, because you always like they come with something extra like that.
yeah, or it be a certain pressing or
Yeah,
whatever.
like but a lot of them would have posters. I remember like the Theater Pain would have like the tickets.
Yep, yep,
Yeah, that was
yep,
good shit, man.
yep, yep, for sure.
Are you done with that?
Yeah, yeah, DRI,
All right.
number four.
My number four. See, I know we've never talked about this band before. Um, from Bronx, New York. They combine hard rock, metal, funk metal, rap metal, elements of jazz, R&B, soul, reggae, and hardcore punk. The 24/7 Spies.
Oh, yeah, definitely remember them. Yeah, yeah.
That's one band I always got into. Like their first single was a cover of Jungle Boogie by the Kool and the Gang.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, yeah.
But that was the first single video on MTV, probably the only one ever that was on 120 Minutes, Yo MTV Raps, Hard 60, and Headbangers Ball.
Okay, yeah, I didn't know. I don't think I knew that, but
Yeah, it's funny.
yeah,
I remember. I thought it was kind of odd, but like I remember coming home from school and Yo MTV Raps was on, and then right after that would be like Hard 60, like like 3 and 4 o'clock. But they played at on both of them at within the same hour. They
yeah,
played like one like 3:30 for UMTV Raps, and that then like at 4:40 or something, and a Hard 60, which I thought was kind of dumb. Playing it right after another, but I mean, it's pretty cool that it's been on like every show.
yeah. That is cool. I agree. And yeah, I certainly remember them. I believe they were one of the bands that was on In Effect Records, and that was a dude named Howie Abrams, who Howie Abrams went on to be an A&R guy for Roadrunner, which I believe is the same guy that signed the band for the album we're going to discuss for Album of the Week.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I realizing that like 4 out of 5 of my bands on my list I've actually seen live, and 24/7 Spice is one of them. I saw them with Stuck Mojo back in the '90s.
Oh, I may have seen him back then too, then. Yeah. I don't remember it, but
I
good
think
chance
Maggie played for him for like a short minute.
could have, yeah.
I mean, he's played for everybody. So
Yeah, a lot of bands. Yeah, yeah,
like Bad Brains and shit. So
yeah.
all right, we got
Fun
for
with the Criminals even
yep,
for a minute. Yeah,
yep.
yeah, yeah.
All right, we got for number three.
Number three is another one that I don't think has been brought up, but I love classic rock '70s bands, and this is one of those bands out of that era. Foghat.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
I
yeah,
think
I
we
don't
ever
think we've ever brought up Foghat on
yeah,
anything. They're one of those bands where you'll know some of their songs, but you just don't know it's Foghat. You
yeah.
know. Um, Yeah, and I love them, man. I love what they do. You know what they did. Well, with Lonesome Dave, what they did. Um,
Yeah, see, they're not my thing.
yeah, yep. But definitely thought they needed to be mentioned, man.
That is a good one. Like I have a lot of bands like that on my honorable mentions, but I forgot
Yeah,
about them.
yep, yep. Well, that's reason why I wanted to throw them on here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right. Is that all
that's
you
all
have?
I got.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, my number three, formed in 1975. They're one of the first bands of the new wave British metal. Released 23 albums and still touring and putting out records today. Saxon.
Oh, hell yeah. Yep, yep. Another legendary band. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
So whether a fan or not, they deserve, be
Yeah,
on this list. Yeah.
and
Like,
I like them. I don't know their whole catalog of stuff, but certainly I know some of the songs they're known for,
yeah.
and I do like them for sure. And they definitely, I agree, deserve to be recognized. Yeah,
I got to see them probably about 10 years ago. And it was cool because they played with another band that I never got to see yet at that time, Armored Saint.
okay.
So that was an
Well,
awesome double bill. An Armored
yeah,
Saint I have as honorable mention, but
so do I. So
yeah,
do I.
because like I love Armored Saint, but man, Armored Saint and Saxon, great like classic metal lineup, man.
Yeah, I agree. Where was that?
Um, shit, Cleveland,
Okay,
Agora.
Agora
Yeah,
Ballroom. Yeah, okay.
yeah,
Yeah, that makes sense.
yeah. All right, what you got for number two?
Number two, this is another band that I'm pretty sure I've mentioned this band in the past, but you hear me talk about rock and roll, rock and roll. This is one of those bands that fits that fucking rock and roll, checks off every box. Nashville Pussy. That like they do not get talked about as
Yeah,
much as they should. Fucking amazing. Husband and wife, fucking female guitar player, rips most dudes' heads off,
yeah.
you know, fucking amazing songs, just pure fucking high energy rock and roll, man. And fun to look at.
Yeah. Yeah, see, that's one I didn't think about either. Yeah, it's a good pick.
Yeah. Good band name, I like little edgy band name.
Yeah,
And a lot of people don't know. Well, some people do, some may not. The Nashville Pussy, the name comes from the one of the live Ted Nugent records. Ted Nugent like playing in Nashville and says all the Nashville pussy. And so
really? So I didn't know that.
yeah, that's how they came up with the band name. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yep. Uncle Ted, man. Ode to Uncle Ted on the band name.
Oh yeah. All right. My number two, 70s glam band that has influenced so many bands like Nirvana, Smashing Pumpkins, Ramones, and many others. Their most well-known songs were hits from other bands. Come On, Feel
Yep.
the Noise, Mama We're All Crazy Now from Quiet Riot, Goodbye to Jane from Brittany Fox, fucking Slade, man.
Yep. That's one that I need to go down the rabbit hole one day.
Yeah, that's like,
Yeah. They
it's one of
are.
the, I mean, you know so many songs, but like I said, by other bands, like
Yep.
so many hits. I just realized doing this list though that Noddy Holder hasn't been with them since like '92.
Okay, is that one of the
That's
key
the original
members?
singer. That's a singer, yeah,
Okay,
who sang on
okay,
all those songs through the '70s and '80s. So like I
okay.
haven't heard anything after that, so I don't know how it is. But if you go down rabbit hole, go down the '70s and '80s stuff because yeah,
Absolutely,
does it
yeah.
mean to me he's what made him? Like he was the face of Slade.
Sure, sure. Yeah, that's a good pick though. I didn't have that as a honorable mention.
It's like they're underrated. It is a shame though. I mean, they got
I'll
paid
agree
for
with
all
that.
those songs they wrote, but it just
Yeah.
sucks. Like nobody knows that they wrote those songs unless you're
Mhm.
like as you call a real motherfuckers. Like
Yeah. Yep. And that's why, for that very reason, that I need to go down the rabbit hole one day.
yeah,
Because I have known the band name for decades, and I've clearly heard some of their songs, but like you and I both, we like to go beyond just the 2, 3 songs
yeah,
some bands might be known for.
yeah. Their like biggest song that they were known for was "Run Run Away."
Okay, yeah,
You would know that
yeah,
one.
yeah,
It's a great
yep,
song.
yeah.
That's all I had for number two.
All right, well, my number one is I know this band had been brought up before, more than once, rightfully so, and I still feel that this band goes criminally underrated. Um, Creedence Clearwater Revival.
I almost
That's my
had
number
them.
one.
Yep, yep.
And that was there was another band that I was gonna put at my number one, which I will talk about in my honorable mentions. But I said nah, CCR is gonna get number one for a
Yeah.
band that doesn't get brought up or talked about as often as they deserve to. Yeah.
Mhm.
Same thing, like we kind of said, tons of people will know a song of theirs but have no clue that it's them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. They had some jams too, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Songs that just 50 plus years and have been used in commercials,
Hmm.
sports events, it's set movies,
Yeah.
all that. And people will know songs, but ask them, well, who is it? And they won't know.
It was like my dad was never a big rock and roll fan, but even he liked CCR, because they had kind of like the country,
Yeah.
sound
They
to
could
it. Like,
appeal to different, right. They
yeah.
could
So
appeal to
like,
different people. Yeah.
so I grew up on CCR.
Yep. So that was my number one, man.
Right. My number one, they're not underrated. Um, they're one of my favorite bands. It's just that our show we usually talk about rock and roll or glam metal. We don't talk much about punk. So my number one is Rancid.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just because I don't think Rancid has been brought up one time on any of these shows, and I love me some Rancid.
I like the Rancid. There's some Rancid stuff I'm hip to for sure, man. Yeah. And totally respect them. Yeah.
Yeah. What's cool is they're like the one band that that's like a mainstream punk band, but still
Mhm.
gets the street cred. You know what I mean? Like,
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
like
Yeah.
Green Day, they came mainstream and people said they sold out, but Rancid, they still get
Yep.
credit for whatever. Yeah,
Absolutely.
great
Yeah.
band.
And I do remember back in the 90s for a while there, we have some mutual friends that, would rock that Out Come the Wolves record. So,
Yeah.
yeah. Yep.
Well, see, it's funny because I didn't really like them at first, like because the first song I heard was Salvation, which they had a video for, and that's when they started
Okay.
getting popular. But I wasn't the biggest fan of it until a few years later. And then now I love all their shit. Man, I haven't heard the last couple records, but even the up to like Let the Dominoes Fall, like about 10 years ago, I was still putting out good records. So.
Well, I remember the video that I remember him for, catchy as fuck song, that Ruby Soho
Yeah,
song.
yeah, off
Yeah,
Alcohol Wolves. Yeah,
yeah, that's a
yeah.
good pick, man. Good
All
number
right,
one. Yeah.
we got for honorable mentions. We'll probably have a lot of the
Well,
same. So
yeah, my first honorable mention was the band that was originally going to be my number one, and a lot of the reason is they are one still to this day, one of the biggest rock bands in the world, and they are on their final Peace Out tour, Aerosmith. I know they're not, you're picky with the Aerosmith thing, which is all good. So they've only been brought up a few times on this, but it's fucking Aerosmith, man.
yeah, I
Love
mean,
them. You know who
yeah,
the fuck? Yeah.
yeah. I mean, like I don't hate him. I used to be a big fan of. I just it's just that like the late '80s, all up to today, wasn't as good. But man, I love a lot of the '70s stuff. That
And I totally agree with what
yeah,
you just. I'll take all the '70s records, and that record with Jimmy Crespo, and I even like the Done with Mirrors, Permanent Vacation, even
Permanent
some of
Vacation was a good one. I did like that. When they came
and I
back.
like some of the stuff on Pump, man.
Yeah. My brother had the greatest hits, and I
Yep,
used to
I had that
watch
too.
fuck out of that as a kid,
Oh
man.
yeah,
Kings and
and that's a
Queens.
good. Yeah, that's a good.
Uh,
I'll tell you the song for me, which I even found out as a cover. I always thought it was a fucking Aerosmith song, "Chip Away the Stone."
yep, yep, great song. Yep,
Yeah.
yeah. Like
Um,
I don't hate on Aerosmith. It just I'm just like you said. I'm kind of there's some that I like and some that I don't. But yeah,
and I am exactly the same way, but for whatever reasons, they've only been mentioned a handful of times at best.
yeah.
And like I said, then being not even arguably, I mean, they are one of the biggest rock bands in the world.
Oh yeah.
They are. I
I mean,
mean,
yeah. Didn't they just play like Fenway Park or some shit? Like
probably, yeah, because yeah, I mean, they're from Boston and
yeah.
they're on the final tour. Yeah,
I think Carrie went up for that show. But man,
yeah, I remember.
like
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. All right, who else you got?
We already said Armored Saint also. Um, excuse me, man. I know this band. A lot of mine are going to coming out alphabetical now because I was going through my music list. That's kind of how I wrote them down to you.
Yeah.
I've brought this band up before. I'm pretty sure you know who they are. Blackberry Smoke.
Yeah, I think I've seen them.
Okay, yeah. I like what they do. Similar, kind of like what you said with CCR. Like there's a lot of depth to this Blackberry Smoke, man. They got the Southern rock vibe, Americana vibe. Um, you know, I hate to say it like this, but because coincidentally both bands are from Atlanta, Georgia. Blackberry Smoke are from Atlanta, but got the Black Crows ish kind of vibe, the Four Horsemen kind of vibe. Actually, the singer who plays guitar for Blackberry Smoke has one of Haggis from the Four Horsemen's custom Telecasters.
Oh yeah.
He has it. And plays it. Like I don't know if you can hear this vacuum in the background, but it's annoying the fuck out of me.
Mhm.
Um, there's a thing on YouTube called Rig Rundown where they'll talk to a guitar player, bass player, whatever, and talk about guitars and amps that they have on tour with them or whatever. And I was watching one for Charlie Starr from Blackberry Smoke, and he talks about, yeah, this guitar. And I was like, he's like, from Haggis, from the Four Horsemen. I was like, motherfucker. Like,
Damn.
that's awesome.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just looked it up. I did see them. They opened for Wasp, believe it or not.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Damn.
Yeah.
I vaguely remember them doing some. Yeah. I vaguely remember that. Yeah.
Around 2005, somewhere around there.
Yeah. So had them had a
Well, real quick, I would have had Black Crows, but since we did album of the week, because we never mentioned Black Crows until we did the album of the week, so they would have been on my list.
yeah, yeah.
But go ahead.
Um, I agree with Black Crows too. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um, Broken Teeth. Jason McMaster's Broken Teeth.
yeah,
A fucking awesome band, man, and they pretty much just keep it to Texas, but they've got a good handful of albums out that if people haven't heard that band, they need to check that out, man. Um, here's one that I think you'll have, and I know it's a band you love and that we have discussed, but maybe don't get as mentioned as often as they should because they're another legendary band, Cheap Trick. You know,
yeah.
I mean,
I didn't have it just because I assume that's a band we talk about a lot because I know we both love Cheap Trick. But yeah, I mean,
yeah, we've mentioned them, but I
yeah,
don't know. I just feel like
yeah,
they're
you're
one of those
right.
bands
Yeah,
that,
not enough,
yeah,
not
yeah,
enough.
not enough. Right.
Yeah,
Another one, not enough, been brought up, but fucking Chuck Berry,
oh
you
yeah.
know, been brought up, but
Mm-hmm.
um, Great White,
See,
you
yeah,
know,
that's another one I
Great,
was thinking of. See, for some reason I thought we brought them up too, but yeah, that's another good one.
we have, but
Yeah,
once again, another band that I mean, I think kind of sometimes may fly under the radar on other things, man. Here's another one that another band I'm very picky of, but another legendary classic band, Judas Priest.
I had them. Yeah, like that's funny because that was the first band I thought of when we did
Okay.
this. Because I mean, like, how have we not?
Right,
You know what I mean?
exactly.
Like,
And
it's
that's why
I
I
love
wanted to do
Priest.
this.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
love Priest, man.
I'm picky. There's the stuff that I like, I really like.
Hmm.
And then there's some stuff I'm just like, yeah, okay.
Yeah,
But what I like of theirs, I really do like, though.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah. It's funny you said that because I definitely yeah. Because I was like, how can we? I don't think they've been mentioned one time. Like, oh,
right, exactly. Here's another one that I think you guys may have mentioned before I started doing these.
hmm,
Keel.
I had it on here. Yep, Kill's a good
Yeah.
one.
So another one I have that I found out there's recently a documentary out about this band, which I'd be very curious to watch, but I guess for right now it's only available on Amazon Prime. Is Leeway.
I had them too.
Yeah.
I fucking love some Leeway. I'm
Well, me
surprised you
and
were
I
at that show a few years ago.
well, you know me, man. It's got to be certain people in the band for me,
Yeah,
and it's just the singer. So, and I like the second album, but I don't think you can fuck with the first album, Born to Expire. To
yeah.
me, can't be fucked with. It can't be fucked with, man. That's the album Zowie played on, who went to go play bass for Circus of Power. So that, yeah, Leeway, man.
What's the name of that documentary? Because I have Prime. If you want to come by and watch it sometime.
Yeah, I would like to do that. I can't remember the name of it right now. Um, but from what I've seen, it's only on Amazon Prime. So I imagine you just look up Leeway.
Right on.
And I think who kind of put most of it together, the little bit I know about this documentary, is um one of the guitar players from back then, Michael Gibbons. I think he's the one that has something to do with this documentary. AJ Novello and Eddie Sutton were the two main. Eddie Sutton was the singer. AJ Novello was the other guitar player who had
Have
done
you
stuff with
heard?
John
Have
Jones.
you heard how Eddie's doing? Last I heard, he was sick.
I haven't heard recently, but I think okay because I see he still posts stuff on Instagram.
Right.
So
I know
yeah,
he was doing a podcast for a while, and then I heard he got sick, and I haven't
yeah,
heard anything. So I'm glad to hear he's doing better.
yeah. I believe so. Like I said, because I do occasionally see Instagram posts. So yeah.
Right on.
Another band, man, who, if I'm keeping it real, just within the past few years I've always known about this band, but where it just hit me one day where there's certain bands with me where like it's like I don't get it with some bands. Like, why are so many people into this band? Why
Hmm.
was this band so this or that? And this was one of those bands for me for the longest until just a few years ago. It really hit me where I was like, okay, I get it now. Fucking MC5.
Oh, damn. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
surprising. Yeah.
yeah. And I don't believe they've ever been mentioned on this.
Yeah.
You know,
I don't think so either.
well,
Um,
here,
Dick Manitoba's singing for him now from the
now,
Dickies. I mean, the
yeah,
Dictators, I mean.
yep, yep. I do remember reading that. Yep,
Yeah.
yep. But does Wayne Kramer got to still be a part of it, right?
I think so.
Okay. It just seems for me it couldn't be the MC5 without Wayne Kramer in it. I
Yeah.
mean, well, another band I know you and I'm pretty much we talked about this band some of the past dinners we recently had that I felt needed to be brought up, a little more Metal Church.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sure.
Um, so here's another one, man. Huge 80s band, one of the biggest 80s hair bands, Rat.
Oh, yeah.
They I know they've been brought up, but it's Rat, man. I mean,
Well, if Trucks is on the show, Rat would be on there every week, and he
yeah,
worked
yeah,
them in
Rat.
somehow. But
We
yeah,
did
yeah,
like some Rat.
I
Yeah,
love some
yeah.
Rat, man.
Me too. Here's one for me, and I don't know if you've really talked to me too much about this band, but this band's first album is a huge, huge album for me. Montrose.
Yeah, I
So
know you're
that's a
big into them.
huge one for me. Here's another band I know we both love, and they've been brought up, but why haven't we talked about them more? Skid Row.
Yep, I almost
Yeah.
had them. Yeah, because yeah, dude, that first record. A lot of people like the second one better, but that first record, man, was
Yeah, well, I like them both, but I
I
do
do
like the first
too.
one better. I do
But
like the first one better.
yeah,
So I've actually only got a couple more. I know this band's been brought up, but Stray Cats.
yep, got them.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
And the last one I have, another band that has been brought up, but was a huge band in the 90s. One of the few bands that kind of continued on to carry the hard rock stuff, style, whatever. White Zombie.
Hmm.
So yeah, those were all the honorable mentions that I had.
All right, I got a lot. I'll go through them pretty quick. A lot of these I may not be the biggest fan of, but it just still we don't talk about them much. Okay. Tora Tora,
Yeah, sure.
Rhino
Memphis.
Bucket.
Rhino Bucket almost made my list because I've recently been on a Rhino Bucket kick. Yes.
Yeah.
So yes, they deserve to be mentioned.
Yeah,
Yeah.
those first couple records, they got the AC/DC down, but those first couple records were really good.
They do, and they've even got recent records,
Yeah.
and Brian Forsyth from Kicks has been in that band.
Hmm.
Still is. Yeah. And I found out too that Sean McNabb is their bass player now also.
Oh, really? All right. Quicksand.
Yeah, hell yeah. Yeah, that first record, man, Slip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, Prong.
Fucking A prong. Beg to differ.
Yeah. Here's a band like I don't think we've ever discussed. Um, Propane.
Yeah, you're right. I don't think they've ever been brought up. I
Yeah.
was into them mid 90s, kind of early on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I saw them with MOD at Alrosos.
Yeah. I'd seen them a handful of times.
Yeah.
Well, my cousin just popped in and she must overhear what we're talking about.
Hmm.
She said zebra.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I
Yep.
remember she was into Zebra back in the early '80s, man.
Yeah, I almost had that one.
I didn't, but yeah, she just popped in and said that Zebra.
It's funny because I keep adding some while I'm doing it, but I'll continue on. Pretty Maids. All right. Pink Floyd.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, Night Ranger.
Yeah. Certainly. And I want to say I almost wrote them down. I don't know why I didn't, but yeah.
All right. Then I had TNT.
Yeah. I never really got into them.
Really?
I, yeah, no, I didn't. No. They're from,
Sweden.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Lillian Axe.
Yeah. Lillian Axe. I was actually looking at Gene Barnett, who was the drummer in Dirty Looks, had uh, accepted a friend request on Facebook, and I never knew it. He was in that band for a while.
Oh, damn.
And he
That's
had
cool.
pictures when he played on at least an album of theirs, if not more. I don't know which. I don't remember which album, but yeah, that was just today. I was looking through his pictures on Facebook and saw that it must have been after Dirty Looks, so it had to been like 94 ish, 95 ish. That he would have been in
Yeah.
Lillian.
Here's one I'm surprised you didn't say. This is a band I just got into recently. Thin Lizzy.
Yeah, I fucked up because I love Thin Lizzy, but similar to almost kind of like Judas Priest. Like I love what I love of theirs, but because Thin Lizzy's another band that has some depth to them. They have do a few different styles of stuff.
Yeah.
Um, I love the rocker songs, man. The
Oh
rock
yeah, for
songs
sure. Yeah,
and
see
the
that
the rock.
I think that's why I never got into them because all the stuff I didn't like, but when I dug deep and I was like,
Yeah,
man, they got some good
exactly.
jams. Yeah.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. And then I do like some stuff like Emerald, which isn't really one of the rockers, but I do like that one. But yeah, you're right, man. I should have. I fucked up there. I lose fucking points on that one, man. Yeah, it's Thin Lizzy.
Here's a band we've kind of talked about, but not really on the show. One of the biggest power pop bands from the 80s, Loverboy.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, yeah. Actually, I saw. I'll send this to you too, or if we do dinner tomorrow, I'll show you. Somebody had posted a newspaper clipping out of the Columbus Dispatch from like March of '81. Uh, that Loverboy was playing at the Agora. It was the Agora then,
Mm-hmm.
prior to becoming the Newport. And then there's a picture of him of Loverboy, and then under it was a bunch of clubs in Columbus at the time that I only knew of like maybe three out of like seven or eight of
Mm-hmm.
them. And a lot of early '80s club, like Rosie was on a lot of those. Black Leather Touch, which was another late '70s, early '80s Columbus band. Um, but yeah, the Loverboy was in the picture, and they had played the Agora in like March of '81.
That's cool. I Leatherwolf,
Yeah, I remember Leather Wolf. Yeah.
Laws Rocket.
Oh yeah, definitely remember all those Fire in the Hole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kick Axe.
I remember them, but I don't remember being into them. I remember that name, and maybe I get them confused too with Kick Tracy, I
Oh yeah.
think.
Yeah, that might be. I didn't really like them too much.
Yeah, but I definitely know of Kick Axe also. Yeah. I want to say
Hurricane.
Trance brought them up once. I'm pretty sure. I think he did sometime.
Not he would have brought up Kick Tracy. He likes Kick Tracy.
Okay, well, once again, that's where
Yeah,
I'm getting confused.
I don't think he ever really listened to the Kick Axe. Hurricane.
Yeah, Hurricane, man. Yeah, that so those couple albums they did were real good.
Yeah. Here's 90s like this band was always kind of hard to describe. I don't know if they're like alternative, post-hardcore, or what. I guess kind of in the quicksand vein, but Helmet.
Oh yeah, Helmet almost made my list. Yeah,
Yeah, Helmet's
yeah.
fucking great.
Those first two Helmet albums I loved, man. In the Meantime and Betty, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Helix,
Yep, Helix, that's a good one that has maybe been brought up once or twice, if that.
Eddie Money.
Well, yeah, we know you and I both love some Eddie Money.
Hell yeah, fuck yeah. And
Yeah,
here's
yeah.
one, man, like one of the biggest bands ever. Eagles.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I fucking love Eagles, man.
The
Yeah,
Who.
the Who, for sure.
I got a
Yeah,
couple more. Boston,
huge band.
Blue Oyster Cult.
Yeah, yeah. That's another one that I think Blue Oyster Cult's one that I think I need to go down the rabbit hole one day beyond what the few songs that everyone else knows them for, you know?
Yeah. The Cars.
Yeah, the Cars wasn't exactly my thing, but they deserved, yeah, to get mentioned.
Yeah. Sticks.
Sticks for sure too, yeah.
Striper. I've never even heard. I don't think I've heard you even say anything about Striper.
Yeah, I thought they were okay back in the 80s. Nothing, I don't had any of their cassettes or anything, I don't remember. But yeah, they deserve to be mentioned for sure.
Foreigner.
Oh, I fucking A Foreigner, yeah. I mean, I could go those type bands all day.
Yeah.
70s, 80s band, like, yeah, I could do
Yeah,
that
like
all day.
REO Speedwagon.
Oh yeah.
Then I had Billy
I mean,
Squire.
that's kind of Billy Squire, yeah. That's kind of where I went with Foghat,
Yep.
like, and Glover, yeah, Glover, early 80s. When I say early 80s, I'm talking like 80 to 83,
Yep.
like that's when all those bands were hot.
Yep. Billy
Yeah.
Idol.
Yeah.
I don't think you ever mentioned him.
Probably haven't now.
Except,
Yeah, we've mentioned Accept,
but
but
not.
yeah,
Yeah,
another
not
one
too
not on.
much. And
Yeah.
here's another one that's kind of mentioned, but we don't talk about too much. Is Nazareth. I love Nazareth, man.
I I was going to. Okay, so part of the reason why I stopped where I did was partly me being lazy and I just ran out of room.
Yeah.
But Nazareth was one I was going to write down,
Mhm.
but I didn't because I knew you would have them.
Yeah.
I knew
I
you
actually
would.
just put that on there while that was one that came to my mind while we were doing this. Now, this
Yeah.
last one I put them on there. We actually discussed this band last week when we were doing the Kicks episode.
Okay.
I watched the video or the interview with them where they talk about Triumph.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, where
We
they
did
talk about
see.
then like they hated
Yeah.
him, and kicked him off the
Yeah.
tour, and
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Kicks was certainly another one that.
yeah,
Yeah, and I'll say it again, man. I really meant it when I said how glad I ended up going to that show when we saw him. Excuse me, man. Just a few years ago, I thought they were amazing,
yeah, they were a lot of fun.
absolutely amazing, man.
Yeah,
And I'm a nerd. I get into the nerdy shit when bands use like those guys sounded good because I'm into it. And bands use like certain Marshall amps and Fender guitars and Gibson guitars and certain drum brands and shit. Like I nerd out on that kind of shit. And
yeah,
those fucking dudes that were Brian Forsyth, who's in Rhino Bucket also, and the dude that was filling in for Ronnie Yonkins, they had fucking, man, amazing sounding Marshalls, both one using a Fender Telecaster, the other a Gibson Les Paul. So that was inevitable that they going to sound as good as they did.
yeah, yeah. It was good. All right. Anything else?
No, man, we covered a lot of bands on
Yeah,
this,
we
man.
did. All right,
Yeah,
5 and out.
5 and out on this one.